Well, welcome to episode 16 of Life of Leadership in Lorain County. Before I introduce my guest today, I want to thank our sponsors, Brian over at BCT Alarm, your local security provider, and WOBL WDLW radio station, Renee and Gary Tillett. I want to thank them for their support. Also, if you were able to check out today's Morning Journal, you'd see that the Morning Journal dedicated the masthead of the paper today to introducing our guest, Mike Cruz, today. So support our local companies, the Lorain Journal, WOBL, WDLW, and Brian over at BCT Alarms. So let me show you our guest today. His name is Mike Cruz. Mike, how are you doing today?
How's it going, Coach?
It's going well. The people that are watching this have absolutely no idea that what we've been through to try to get this thing recorded, do they?
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's patience.
And I need to work on my patience. So this was good. This was good for me today. So, Mike, talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you came from, what you've done in your life, and how did you end up on this podcast today?
All right. Yeah. So I moved here from San Diego on my 11th birthday. And 6 years later, I joined the Army. I initially did it because I have a half sister out there somewhere. I wanted to get money, poor kid in Lorain. Wanted to get money and find my sister. Ended up finding her later on. But from in the Army, I did military intelligence. I was a ground surveillance systems operator, which is MLS class 96 Romeo. What we did is we embedded sensors in the ground, and we can tell the direction and speed of and what was going over, and it was pretty cool. They phased that out, so I had to reclass, had to become a cavalry scout, 19 Delta, and then I ran a platoon of 40 people, 42, of a personal security detail for a colonel. They sent me to Penn State for a couple classes in resiliency, and I got to teach TAT to a whole brigade. So 300, I'm sorry, not a brigade, 300 something people. And I got to teach colonels and generals, about resiliency. So that's what happened there. I deployed to Iraq. I deployed to Afghanistan. I did electronic warfare, which is jamming signal. So let's say an insurgent, hits a button, and we have signals that block that button, that block the, so we don't lose any lives. After that, I was figuring out what to do. I decided to work for Tesla. Tesla's a really great company. Went out to California and I started building the Model X and the Model S. I even came up with a design for the cars and I submitted it to the patent lawyer. After that, I started a marketing company, and it did really well, but that just wasn't where my passion was. I did part-time work at a school, and I just found out that, helping kids, getting to talk to kids is something that I'm really passionate about. And I decided to take what I learned in the Army and convert it, change it a little bit, mold it to help kids cope with the things that they're going through these times, and help them out with issues that they might have and getting into college.
Yeah. So you and I were chatting earlier before we got disconnected, and I was telling you about my experience that I had last week. And the experience that I had last week is I went and did some leadership training for a company outside of Charlotte, North Carolina called IEG. They're an industrial electrical contractor. They actually did some work over there at the Tesla plant in California. So it's kind of neat how we have that in common as well. But what we did is we went off site and did our training at a spot called the U.S. National Whitewater the Whitewater Institute. And what this Whitewater Institute, it's about 100 acres of outdoor adventure. And one of the things that they have is they have whitewater. It's where a lot of the canoes and the kayakers compete It's they can control the stream, they can move the stream, they can create class 5s. There's a lot they can do there. And the first time we went whitewater, the first pass through the first set of rapids, we all got knocked out of the boat. And this is after a half day of leadership training. And what I did is I focused on how are people reacting? What are they doing? One was swimming across the river. A couple of us were trying to climb back in the boat. The guide was in the boat, and that was just one of the adventures that we did. But I was thinking, this really shows me why we have a lot of people that come out of the armed services and they're leaders, because they learn leadership under duress. So talk a little bit about that. See if that makes sense to you. Do you agree with that thought?
Yeah, 100%. When you're put into situations that, you train for them all the time, you only know what you train for. So drill and drill and drill and drill and drill is what we did. And when time came, to execute what we had learned, there were some members who you could tell who slacked on the training, who didn't slack on the training. So it's very, very important to drill like it's real world scenarios all the time, like you're going to be, going through it.
So you said you were deployed twice, right?
Yep, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan.
You want to chat with us a little bit about those situations?
Iraq was a lot of pain and it sucked. That's where I did the personal security detail. We were all up and down Baghdad. We did a lot of peacekeeping missions, a couple of building clearances, and we took care of the guy that we were supposed to protect. We were missed quite a lot by the insurgents there. Afghanistan, really, I played a executive officer role. I made sure that shipments were going back and forth between the different outposts, and then they even sent me to a separate outpost so that I can manage the stuff from there. So I was there for like a couple months, 2 years total deployed.
Yeah, no, you talked about going to Penn State and getting some training. So what kind of training was that?
I did. The Army sent me to Penn State to take some classes in resiliency. It was December 2009, I believe. And it's a brand new thing, because when people go through different adversities, let's say your friend, passes and you go through a traumatic experience, you have to learn how to deal with those things. You have to put yourself in the mindset of, it's not completely my fault. What had happened, I can't control it. You worry about the things that you can control, and you don't dwell on, the fact that they're gone, and if there was something you could have done, you put your everything in a perspective so that you can get through the adversities that you go through while deployed, which there are quite a few. So.
And then you took that information that you learned and you trained others in that.
Right. Yep. So I trained 320 something soldiers, some colonels, a general. General Petraeus is one of those generals. General Austin. I can name a few, but we learned resiliency, and I got to teach them, become the resiliency. They call it resiliency master. I got to teach that. It was really awesome, teaching them how to get over or get through situations by putting everything really in a perspective and figuring out the underlying issue of what you're going through and how to get through it.
And General Petraeus became the director of the CIA, right?
Yep, he did. Yep.
And he never.
I got a really cool picture of me wearing his. I was a fanboy. I wore his general stars, and I was all like excited about it. It was great. Got to wear his vest. It was cool.
So you said you moved to Lorain when you were 11. Is that what you said?
On my birthday. My 11th birthday. I got one. See, so we grew up very underprivileged. I got Casper the Friendly Ghost on VHS for my birthday that year.
Where did you move from?
San Diego.
So you lived in San Diego and you moved to Lorain.
Yep. It's
And
great
so,
city.
what's that?
It's a great city. I love Lorain. I moved back. I mean, I moved back for family. I moved back for a lot of reasons.
So, I mean, why did your family move out of San Diego? I mean, I love San
Well,
Diego.
it's kind of a love story. My mom was leaving my dad, and she left him. And my dad figured out that he didn't want to be without her, so he drove all the way here to Ohio, gave up everything in California, and they've been together ever since.
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
What school did you go to when you what schools did you go to while you were in
So
Lorain?
so my mom's aunt housed us. We lived in her basement for a while. I went to Lincoln Elementary, which was right across the street, and then from there I went to Whittier. I wrestled for Whittier, 7th and 8th grade, by complete accident because there was somebody with the exact same name as me. So in gym class, they said, "You signed up," and I said, "No, I didn't." And they're like, "Well, you might as well come try it anyway." So I did, and I liked it. Um, Wrestled at Southview varsity. I wrestled varsity Southview, and then for Dan Turnus, I don't know if anybody might know Dan Turnus. Uh, then I trained my brothers on in wrestling, and one of them went to state actually. He didn't make it, but he went there, so it's a good accomplishment.
Yeah, so was that back in the day where you had to go through the mentor meat grinder?
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot. Yeah, and so I even actually I'm in contact with some of the wrestlers still that mentored me in at Southview, and they're my brother-in-law's best friend, and they're still I can ask them questions about things that role has never gone away. If there was anything that I might need, yeah.
Yeah, the Dan Turnus. What was his brother's name, or is his brother?
Tommy,
Dan and Tommy Turnus. Yeah, they
Tommy
were
with one eye.
Tommy with one eye. That's right. You know,
That's right.
they created a great tradition over at Southview with
They
wrestling.
really did, and their wrestling programs were top tier. Uh, yeah, they made me really. They pushed me to step out of my bubble, and that was really the first time was high school that I really got to do that and try to figure out who I was at the time.
And did you figure out who you were at the time?
No, it took a lot more time than that, Coach. It took a lot more time than that. I had to go through a whole lot of adversity, and I mean, just being patient. That's something that is really. Everyone always says you're so patient. You're so patient. It's what's gotten me through almost everything in my life.
Now you've got something coming up on Memorial Day weekend, don't you?
I do every Memorial Day for my friends that I've lost. I think I'm up to 8 now. We I walk 11.8 miles around Lorain before all the parade show, before everybody's probably even up. Starts at I get up at 6, starts up at 7. Only lasts 4 hours, and I walk those miles. I walk from the South Branch of Lorain all the way to Broadway. Take Broadway all the way to the lake. Cross the bridge. The bridge is closed this year, but hopefully I can walk over it. I'm gonna have to check that out. Um, I walk over that bridge and then hit Colorado and take Colorado all the way back to the south side of Lorain.
Wow.
And no one's ever done it twice with me, by the way. So it's always been, hey, we want to do it. And then they do it. And then the next year they're like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. So this month, this year is the 10th year that I've done it. I'm looking to get a taco truck there or a food truck at the library. I got the library's approval. So they're just waiting to find someone to.
So that's where you start,
Yep, that's where I start every year.
and then you're gonna have somebody take you back there to eat your tacos, or what?
No, I start there and I end there.
Oh, you start there and you end there. All right.
Yep. So I started South Branch, go all the way around. Colorado leads right back to the south side of Lorain, and then I take that to 57 and 57 to the South Branch Library.
And it's 11.8 miles.
11.8.
Is there a significance why 11.8?
Well, yes, there is. It was 11. I just say 11, even though it's a little bit more. 22 soldiers or 22, service members commit suicide, and I half that. So I don't know if I could actually do 22. So that's my contribution is 11. It's my favorite number as well.
Do you do that with a rucksack on?
I do. I have 50 pounds in my rucksack.
Wow.
Yeah.
50 pounds.
Every year.
Wow.
And I don't prep for it. I don't, walk miles weeks before, months before. I don't prep for it because you can't be prepared for when it's your time.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's very deep meaning. It's just, I've never actually had to explain it to anybody. So it's.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to explain it today.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, talk to me about your experience at Tesla. You showed me that you've had some neat experiences there. You also you showed me your idea book that you have. You took an opportunity to design a vehicle. Talk to me about your time at Tesla.
Yeah. So I was on the team that created the Model X. Well, I didn't create it, but I built the Model X. This is a picture of it, if you can see it here. Model X production team sticker. I built the Model X and the Model S, and they were a pain in the ass. Excuse me. They were a pain. They're very hard to build. I even got the opportunity to do the electrical inside of a Tesla, and there are a lot of wires. I left that day just drenched in sweat, and it was very hard to do. Installing the batteries go underneath. That's a very difficult job as well. Batteries fall, injure people. I did so well one time that they not one time, but I did so well in my time that once they offered me to test drive the Tesla. In the back of their facility, there was a track where they did all the test drives, the bumpy roads. It was great to see like that firsthand. So I got to test drive one for the company. I created something that already existed. I offered my ideas to the patent lawyers at Tesla so that I can get, improve the battery life. And actually, I have a diagram here. So I did this is my sketchbook. In this book, I have this is the front end of a Model S.
Get a little bit closer.
Sure.
All right.
This is the front end of a Model S. And what I wanted to do was create an airflow system so that, there you go, create an airflow system that could recharge the battery. How that goes here. While it's in motion. So charging the battery, just improving the battery. The one that I thought of that someone had already had the idea of was solar panels on the top of the vehicle, so that while it's stationary, it can charge up instead of waiting, 30 minutes to charge a battery at a fast supercharger. My ideas didn't go very far. I mean, they went to the patent lawyer, so that's cool. I have a whole book of ideas. It's my famous. Someone offered me a lot of money for this book once, and I declined because it's my ideas. They say that the graveyard is the wealthiest place. It's where good ideas go to die.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was life like in Fremont, California?
Oh, Fremont was just a hop, skip, and a jump from San Francisco. So it was great. I have nothing but good to say about San Francisco. It's a really, really amazing city. There is a lot of things to see. There's a lot of history there. It's a really good place. Fremont is a little smaller, but I think they moved to Texas now. So they're in, I think near Austin. Not really too sure. I haven't kept up on it.
Yeah, I think they're in Austin. the so we have the S, the 3, the X, and the Y, right?
Yeah, Elon's very good with his marketing.
And so, did you and I ever talk about the story why it's a 3 and not an E for that one vehicle?
We didn't speak about it, but yeah, maybe we did. I'm not sure. I know it's Mustang, right?
What's that?
Mustang has the copyright on that.
Ford has the
Ford.
copyright on
Yeah.
the letter E. I don't know how they do it, but they have the copyright on the letter E. And Elon actually even tried to buy it from Ford, and Ford wouldn't do it. So
Yeah.
so it comes out sexy.
Sexy. With the
Yeah,
3. That's
sexy
great.
with the 3. With the way that we abbreviate things nowadays, that seems to make sense, right?
Yeah, and he's like I said, he's very intelligent. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever had the pleasure to meet. I met him one time, and that's all I needed to be impressed. Is just that. He takes care of his employees there as well, like really well. So
Yeah, that's and here we are now. He's looks like he's made an offer to purchase, and we have to wait for everything to be ironed out. But it looks like he's going to take over Twitter.
yep, he's gonna take over Twitter. That's that's really crazy. I don't know if you know, I'm such a nerd. Like I follow like Marvel and the Avengers and stuff. Like Thanos is the bad guy, and he has the glove with the stones in it. Well, one of them has Elon Musk on the forehead of Thanos. It says Twitter, Tesla, SpaceX. It's the funniest thing. He's gonna have all the power.
He's going to
He's
have
a really
all.
smart guy though. So, and he
Um,
comes from South Africa.
yep,
South African native. So it's
he's South
crazy.
African, and he worked his way into the U.S. through Canada. So he
Through
came from
Canada,
South
yep.
Africa, yeah, through Canada. Yeah, that's it.
Living the American dream, right?
He is living the American dream.
That's it.
Back in 2008, when the world looked like it was coming to an end, Tesla almost came to an end. He didn't even, at the end of the year, he didn't even have enough money in his bank accounts to make payroll.
Yep.
And I mean, he pushed, and he went out and he looked and made phone calls, and didn't sleep for a couple of days until he was able to raise enough money that would support Tesla and SpaceX for the rest of for all of 2009. So he went from having nothing in his bank accounts to having enough money to run both of those companies, which are high dollar companies, for the entire year of 2009. And now look what he's done. It's absolutely amazing.
And something that they do at Tesla is they're really good at like they want everyone to be as creative as possible. It is a very grueling job. Like my hands were swollen the first 2 weeks of putting these cars together, but they in the bathroom, as you're in the urinal, right there in front of your face, you see they always have inspirational quotes. They have creative thinking quotes. Like they have uh, they have a flyer there where they want you to come and talk to people and always try to improve in the company and improve personally. They want you to take these college classes. They want you to take courses to just improve yourself, better yourself. And I think that's really awesome for a company to do. And that's why I kept my books of good ideas is something very dear to me. Even though some of these might not go anywhere, some people have already. So I was at Coachella, and I had another notebook. It looked kind of like this one here, and it got stolen. And I want to say it was a month later. I saw the same exact idea on Kickstarter with 300 grand raised up already. So silly how that works, but it
What's
was
Coachella?
Coachella is a festival, is a music festival. It's a weekend long. You could either camp there or get a hotel there. We decided to camp that weekend, so we went and see all the artists, and we camped out, and then the party like never ended for like 3 days straight. It was crazy, really good. But like I said, my notebook went missing, and saw the idea on the internet months later.
Crazy.
It was a luggage that could power your laptop. So you plug it in, while you're the night before or whatever, and then you take to the airport. Instead of looking for outlets somewhere, you have outlets on your actual luggage with the battery in it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I was in the airport this weekend. It's been a while since I've been there, and all of a sudden I had several devices that were running out of battery because I had them on. So I went from Charlotte to Chicago, and didn't have things fully charged. I had my air shocks or whatever they're called in my ears, and they were dying. My phone was dying, and had to search for place to power it up, and I had like 5 minutes before my next flight. So yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
it would have been great to have that. Yeah, it would have been great to have just plug it right in your carry-on.
That would have.
Like I said,
So
I got a lot of good ideas.
yeah, yeah. So what brought you back to Lorain?
Family brought me back to Lorain. I have a son, and he lives here, and I wasn't gone for that long. He's here, and he's everything to me. So, I had to come back for him. And I was doing really well at Tesla. I could have stayed there. It takes a lot to give something like that up. It's not about money to me. It's about family's the most important thing. So, and creating a genius or someone of good quality who I can give to the world and say, here you go, world. This is my son. He is everything that you need. So hopefully he can be.
And how old is he now?
He is 10 actually. His birthday is in a couple days. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We celebrated yesterday, or it's Saturday. So we had to pretend he was 10 so he could, I'm not saying lying is good. I'm saying he wanted an experience and I gave him the experience he wanted.
So you moved back and you created Cruise Control Marketing?
Correct. I had Cruise Control Marketing. I was doing really good with it. I had, local area people. I had contracts with the government, so they're required to save a certain amount of business for small veteran businesses, and just a piece of that is really all. I had pieces of those, and it it's taking care of a lot of things, so it's helped out a lot. But it just wasn't where my passion was, so I had to stop that in November.
And then you sell coffee online too, right?
I do. Yep, Trainwrecked Coffee. Trainwrecked with a RECK''D, because life's a wreck. Your coffee shouldn't be. That's how I say it. Yeah, and that's doing okay. I mean, I get a couple sales. I really haven't promoted it like I should.
Well, promote it now. What do people need to do in order to get a bag of Trainwrecked coffee, and what kind do you have? And
oh man, the amount of coffee that's on there is ridiculous. There's so many different kinds of coffee. It's decaf. I don't recommend the K cups. I do recommend African Kawaii. I can't say it, but it's amazing. I don't drink coffee like a madman, but I have to have sweet coffee. I could drink that coffee black. It's delicious. It's trainwreckedcoffee.com. If you Google Trainwrecked, like I said, it's WREC. I can't even talk. WRECK''D. Trainwrecked. So it's my coffee. It's great coffee.
all right. So other than Leadership Esports, do you have any other businesses that we need to be made aware of?
Any other businesses? No, I do part-time at a school.
Right.
I do the computers and make sure that the internet works. I make sure that when they're testing, that no one gets kicked off the internet, stuff like that. Even though we had some issues today.
Yeah, we did. All right, so that then rolls us into Leadership Esports. So it doesn't look like you spell leadership LEADRSHIP. Yeah, so talk to me about what those letters represent and
Sure.
what leadership esports is, and go from there.
Yeah, a lot of people get it confused. They think it says lordship. I understand. It looks like an O, but it's a D. Um, in my time in the army, they drilled. It's the army values. And we use this acronym here: uh, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. Uh, that's something that I can just rattle off at the top. I could be asleep and say it. It's drilled into me that well. Um, Working here at the school, I'm like, I get to meet with the kids that have issues. They come to the office. I get to sit and talk to them, and something that they all have in common is video games. That's the main way I get through to them is, they tell me about their video games, or they tell me about, I got in trouble and this is what's going on in my life, and I'm not a counselor, but they open up to me, and video games is how they started to do that. Throughout my military career, throughout my whole life, um, video games has been a thing for me. It's helped me cope with, things that have happened. Divorce. Before the divorce, my wife left me a couple times. It's just the army was hard on her, so uh, she took it out on me. I got through it with using video games. It's very relaxing and is my coping mechanism. So what I did with I'm all backwards here. What I did with the acronym here is I took it and I figured out what kind of things kids need help with. What kind of things do kids lack in society? Uh, because all kids play video games. I've come to learn that. Uh, it could be, just a mobile app game, or it could be a PC game. They all play video games. So I took the acronym and I changed it and made it my own. So the L, I changed it to life skills. So that's the actual slogan of the company is life skills through gaming. So life skills is the first one. It's where students get to learn all the things you don't really learn in school. You know, socialization, communication, empathy is huge. The other one, the next letter would be decision making. I can't spit it off as fast, so you just please. I'm sorry, coach. Decision making, and that's in the moment, getting kids to make decisions in the moment, part of a team that will improve their their how fast they think, their critical thinking. The R is for respect. A lot of kids don't have respect these days. It was beat into me. I don't plan to beat it into kids, but I do plan on showing them, hey, this is what respect looks like. This is how you give respect, and this is how you get respect. S is for social skills. Socializing, communicating. Again, there's a lot of social skills that kids lack. My daughter, for example, is 15, and she lives in Oregon. And I brought her here one summer, and she's a painter. She's an artist. She put her art up all on Jamie's Flea Market, and people came by, and she did not want to have a word with them. She did not want to, but through coaching, by the end of it, she was like, someone came up and, hey, is there anything you're looking for? Like, she was the most timid thing to the most outspoken thing in just a couple hours. And that's something that I think all kids need help with. Because there are timid kids. There's a little kid that comes to me after school, and he tells me he got an F in science, and a week ago he wouldn't have told me that, but through talking to him, building up his social skills, he's not so timid talking to his teacher about how he can get his grade better. The H is health. Health is not only physical health, but mental health. There was a student that I knew that there was a student that I knew that she was going through some things, and I felt that if she had somewhere to go, someone to listen to her, I mean, she had something. There could have been something more for her. She wouldn't have ended her life, and we wouldn't have gone to her funeral. Um, so mental health is huge for me. It's one of the biggest things in the program, in my opinion. Physical health, nutrition. They have to eat properly. Um, Exercise, balance video game playing time versus physical activity time. Like I said, just this past weekend I went paintballing, so I'm almost sore from that. It's not always video games. It's making sure that you take care of your personal health. I stands for integrity. I kept that the same because you need to know when to do the right things at the right times. You have to be able to show integrity always. It's very important. In the Army, when you go to get a promotion, they send you to a board of higher ranked people. One of the questions they ask you, first they ask you to recite the Army values, which is, you go through them. And then they ask you, which value is most important to you? Or which one is, the most important value? Integrity has to be, just looking at this acronym and just thinking about it, integrity has to be the most important. That's why I kept it. And it's you have to know when to do the right thing always. It's very hard to do the right thing at times. So it's one of the hardest ones to do. And P stands for patience, because without patience, we would have quit the first time we got disconnected. Without patience, patience, I wouldn't be here without patience, because there are a lot of times where things just get under your skin, or things are taking too long. Like right now with leadership, I don't feel things are going as fast as they should be, but I have to show patience and to get through it, to get to where I want to be. And that's at a position where I can help kids get college scholarships using video games, and that's what I do.
So you're a pretty good video player yourself, aren't you?
Oh yeah. So I play Call of Duty in the Pro League and the World League. I am officially ranked 5th overall worldwide. My team is ranked 1st, and every August we go and we compete for $300,000. This year, since we're doing a multiplayer and a zombies version, I believe they haven't said it yet, but I believe the pot is 600,000. That's in August.
Okay. So now let's talk about there's scholarships available for students that play esports, right?
Correct. So many scholarships available. There are a ton of schools that give scholarships for college. There are a lot of leagues that give scholarships. There are certain leagues that give $15,000 at a time for winning Fortnite. How many parents can say, "Oh, my kid won a Fortnite tournament and got 15 grand for college"? Not many. The esports world is very unique in that it's kind of like conventional sports, but not really. An esports player could be a middle school kid, and you can play esports professionally from middle school all the way until you're 20, 25, I'd say. And after that, you go play esports for a college, get college scholarship money, play for them on their varsity team, and go to school and get a degree in whatever you want. And then you got 2 careers instead of, and a buttload of money because you earned a buttload of money playing professionally.
And so what your vision is to create a space where students could come and learn leadership through sports.
Correct. So I have partnered with a company They actually created a curriculum. Is a doctor. She created the curriculum. Um, I I have this curriculum, and I am unable to teach part two of it. Part one, I can teach as a coach, and I've gone through all the coaching classes. I've gone through the conventional sports coaching classes. I need to take CPR to verify, for my final step. But first aid, actually, I think through Red Cross. Um, that's my final step. But esports wise, I've got esports certificates out the wazoo, and um, yeah, that's. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, you're trying to you're trying to get some space,
Yeah,
and
the space. I'm sorry. There's a lot. Yeah, so the space is
I
yeah,
could
what I'm
just
trying to do
I
is
could
create
just
like a
picture
space.
that a student must have walked in there and made a face at you or something like that, and took you off
Yeah,
your game there
yeah.
for a second.
So it's kind of think of a computer lab.
All right.
So computers lined up, lined up, lined up, and just a space where kids can come in, play video games. Essentially, it'd be like a monthly fee, like a gym membership, just like a gym membership. Um, what I want is to also have them be on a professional or a team where they can gain the skills that they need to gain and earn college scholarships. Because a lot of these leagues that will put you in, that I'll put you in, uh, offer scholarships, and they're not going to pay for your full ride, but just to have a scholarship money is something. Even if you're not playing for a pro team or for a college team, you'll still have this money for when you go to college and pay for that. 'Cause college is expensive. Can be. I mean, in Ohio State, I visited Ohio State. They're uh they're really well established down there. They have a scholarship program. They're looking for a manager right now. Akron is a really good. They're well established in the esports. Um, what is it? Miami of Ohio, is that the college?
Yep.
Yep, they're really well established. Actually, the guy that is in charge of that program, he wrote Esports for Dummies. He wrote that book. So, and I've read that book. So it's yeah, it's a good book.
Now, are you so? Talk to me about your vision.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you where do you want to locate? Where are you trying to locate?
My dream location is Avon. That's my dream location. I think there's a lot of traffic. I think there's a lot of room for growth. Um, but I'm from Lorain, and if the proper opportunity presents itself, which it looks like it might be going that direction, I am so happy with bringing business to Lorain. That's where I grew up. It's holds a really special place for me, and it like I said, it will be a facility where you come in and you can just play video games. You can play competitions. You could win cash money prizes. You can win scholarships if you get on the team, and that's what the goal is.
So how do you incorporate leadership skills into the gaming?
So that's something that's really interesting too. Is let's just say communication. So to be a part of a team, you need to communicate well, because if someone's over here and they're getting attacked and they don't communicate, you're going to get blindsided and you're going to get destroyed from the back end. So communication is huge. So these kids that aren't good at talking to one another will come in, play these games together, and learn, hey, this is what we talk, this is how we talk in the game. Step out of the game, they will have, this is who I've been talking to. This is the guy that's got my right covered. This guy that's got my left covered. We can talk outside of the game, to about things in the game, and that only opens up space for communication and other things like, oh, I'm going to coffee. Oh, you like coffee? And then they learn that way. Just by throwing them into the fire is really what I really like doing. I don't know. It's what happened to me. I think it really works.
Well, the Marines call it the Crucible, right?
They do. Yep. It worked with my daughter. I threw her at Jamie's flea market, and by the end of the day, she excelled. And now she's like, I can't wait to go back. I want to sell more art. Love my daughter. She's great.
Yeah, that's that you're getting disrupted again, huh?
Yeah, they're knocking on the door. All right.
I mean, what people that are listening, what can they do to help, or how do they get a hold of you?
At the moment, I have, well, here you go. 440-752-5511 is my number. Text it, call it. Admin at Leadership Esports, spelled this way, .com. I do have a GoFundMe out there. I sell T-shirts. They're $30 a piece. I know it's expensive. I got them for 26. I'm not making much on them. I just want to try to raise the money so that I can put kids who can't afford the program into the program and create a proof of concept.
All right. I mean, are you looking for students now? Do you have a space that you're working out of, at least temporarily?
It's all virtual.
All right.
I am looking for a space. Actually, the public library system this past Friday just offered me a space. Surprised the public library is going to be doing some esports. I could possibly be helping them with that. The city of Lorain has offered some space, waiting for some grants for that. So yeah, so a space, or most of it could be done online initially. That's really where everything is on the internet. So it's very easy to get everyone coordinated. What I really need is students in the program. That way it can prove my concept. If this works, kids get scholarships, they can learn from it. It will help them in their life.
What ages are you looking for?
Middle school to high school.
Okay.
Anywhere from middle to high school.
All right. And all they have to do is go to your website, and they can sign up there.
Yeah, they can sign up. You can contact me. You can call. You can email. Anything works.
Okay.
Sorry, I got. Yeah.
That's right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a single screen with me for a second. I'm going to thank my sponsors, and then I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to tie a bow onto this conversation, and give me your best thoughts as to how we do this transgenerational leadership, right? So here you are at your age, and you're trying to go through to this middle school, high school generation to teach them about leadership using esports. So I'm going to come back and let you put a bow on it and see what you have to say. I'll be back in a minute. So I want to thank Brian Jankowski at BCT Alarms for the opportunity to sponsor this program. Mike knows Brian real well also, and then over at WOBL WDLW, we want to thank the Tillettes, Renee and Gary Tillett. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that there's a banner going across, and I'm asking you to text now to 440-294-6200. This will get you onto my mailing list when I drop a new podcast or do one of my weekly videos. It'll come to you, and it will help you grow as a leader. One thing that I talk about when it comes to leadership is that there's no such thing as a microwave leader or a Pop-Tart leader. You cannot go to one conference or listen to one podcast and become the leader that you have the potential to become. We have to continue to grow daily to become the best version of ourselves, fully alive, living a 5-star life, and being that great virtual leader. So thanks for listening today. And now I'm going to kick it back to Mike and have him put a bow on it. Mike, thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Coach. One thing I didn't say actually is I am officially the team manager for the United States Army's Call of Duty team. Surprise! So I think with that, kids need this program. They need a program like it. If anything, it doesn't have to be mine. I'm not here to like bank off of everybody. I'm here to give quality kids to communities, and that's really what I want. And video games tell me so much. I think that it can help kids grow and learn. And there is a study that was done that says that GPAs improve 1.7 through the curriculum that I have, and I don't think anyone else is doing it. So reaching kids through what they're already doing is something that's really important. Your kids are going to be in the basement or the attic playing video games. Might as well be learning something. That's how I see it.
Right on.
I appreciate
Mike,
you.
thanks so much. Yeah, thanks so much for the time. Thanks for the patience. We worked through some issues.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow morning.
Actually,
right?
I'll see you in the morning.
All right, Mike. Thanks so much.
See you there, Coach.